So I'm just minding my own business, right? And just out of nowhere, my quad just disassembles itself. Now, this could have been a crack that had formed in the past. I'm gonna have to check based on how much rust is on things. But what happened basically is I was going down the roughest trail I've ever been down, just pure misery, way too rough for a solid axle machine, even on an independent quad. Like, it was just the trail. It's so dry this year that all the mud holes dried up, but they're still very, very, very rutted. So this is what ended up happening. Let me show you. Broken. Yeah, I completely sheared off the rear swing arm. I wasn't jumping. I wasn't doing anything crazy. I was literally just driving down a trail, but it was so rough that I bounced over a rock and broke the swing arm. So that's what I get to deal with. And that's what now I'm gonna, since I have to fix it, I might as well stretch it. It's about a 5-minute job pulling the rear diff out of this thing because I deleted the rear brakes to put the paddles on. So there's no brake lines, no connections to fight with. It's just the 2 bolts and the one for the shock. So yeah, it just rolls out. Nothing. And a breather, I guess. Yeah, there's a breather line right here. Once you got that out, you got the rear diff out. Simple as that. So here's what we're looking at. That's pretty substantial damage. Amazingly, it made it all the way out of the woods. Honda stuff, obviously. It made it all the way out of the woods, completely broken and all floppy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reposition this, clean it up, reposition it, weld it back so that it's solid. Then I'll have to pull the paddle off so I can clean up the backside and weld it. And then I'm going to end up adding gussets here. I'll probably end up gusseting this whole spot in to make it stronger, because now this is a weak point. Now, even if I weld it, it'll still be a weak point. And then this, I'm going to cut out all of it because this doesn't fit through here. See? You have to take the diff out. You have to remove the diff to get the drive shaft out this way, which I think is stupid. So I'm going to cut all this garbage out, repair it, weld it, make it stronger, and make it a hump here, a bigger hump, so that you can get the drive shaft out that way. And then when this thing inevitably blows the drive shaft, because I'm going to be basically lengthening this drive shaft, and it will be, I'll try and temper it and make it strong, but there's no guarantees that it won't be brittle and it won't just shear off at some point. So I'm going to make it so it can be removed that way and replaced fairly quickly, because it's way easier to take the 3 bolts out and move the diff out. Like, you could do this in the woods if you had to, and roll the diff back than it is to take all of this apart to get to that. So that's what I'm going to do. It's not original anymore, but I mean, I had already, we're way past original, way past OEM, so I'm not too worried about that. So I welded up the swing arm to stiffen it up for now, just so I can work on it, because it was all floppy before. And now I cut out all the metal that was bent and broken and damaged to get the drive shaft out, and I'm going to have to rebuild that up. I see why they built it the way they did. They made an inner tube and an outer tube to try and strengthen it up, but I mean, it's probably plenty strong as long as you're not broken on the swing arm. But this took all the abuse once the swing arm broke. Yeah. So, and if anyone's wondering, this is how the U-joints just clip on. Like, they clip on kind of like when a CV axle clips into the front diff of a quad. That's how the U-joints mount. So I just took a hammer and just tapped right there. Whap. Off this comes, one hit. No big deal. I'll put anti-seize all over it when I put it back together. Here's my drive shaft. And I'm going to go see if I've got one similar, but I'm pretty sure the ones for the 300s and everything are different. But let's say I had one that was conveniently a couple of inches longer, then I would just swap it in. But I doubt it's going to be the same. The driven end right here looks like it would be the same as a 300 or something, but it might not be. Whereas the front might be completely different. I'm just not sure. Either way, I'll check if I have one. But if not, I found this conveniently the same size input shaft off an old Turbo 300 Chev transmission. And it should be of similar hardness. It's the same size. So all I got to do is zip the chunk I need out and add it in. and see if I can't make a really weak, brittle drive shaft that breaks. So I cut 2 inches out of that shaft, and I beveled the hell out of everything, and now we can put it in and weld it all up to one, and then I'll have to go put it in the oven in the house and temper it and let it, I'll heat it all up to like 300 degrees, and then I'll turn the oven on down to 200 degrees, and then shut it off at some point and just let it cool down naturally. And it shouldn't be too brittle where I welded it, but we'll find out. That's the risk you take when you're doing stuff like that. So I'm not sure what the correct term for this is. Like obviously I narrowed them right down. I welded them. It's nice and straight now. It's too hot to touch still, but it is nice and straight. It spins nice and true. Yeah, too hot. I was always taught when you had to weld a shaft like that you had to cap it. So I built some caps, and I'm going to weld them over, and then hopefully, all this extra steel you've added actually makes it strong and not weaker. We'll find out. So here it is. It's nice and straight. I capped it off. I put shells over it, and then I welded them to the shaft, and then I welded them to the shaft in the center on both sides. So it should be plenty strong. It might just shear off. You never know. Now I'm going to go put it in the oven in the house and let it temper for a bit here. Well, cool it down gradually so that it doesn't get brittle is the theory. Good news, everybody. I'm searching the steel pile for the right steel. And I have some pipe that's the right size, but look how rusty it is. It's more work. Or I just cut a chunk right out of the pipe rack that's already got a taper on it, which is exactly what I want. Perfect. Nature will provide. Don't worry about cutting next to those propane bottles. I'm sure they're not more than half full. So I finally got this drive shaft situation fixed. This thing's still almost too hot to touch. It's been cooling down for hours. Yeah, it's still too hot to touch. But as you can see, now when you go to remove the drive shaft, you can just slide it out this way. And this will be a lot stronger than it used to be because this is what was left. This tin, little kid stuff, small stuff. So I'm gonna have to beef this up. And this starting off with 1/4 inch tube here will help drastically. And then I'll beef it up on this and on the bottom side. And then hopefully this won't happen again. So that's all built up for now. I say for now because I'd like to add more. On the bottom side it was all cracked up. And I welded it and fixed it. I made sure to leave some of the pipe sticking out on both sides so that I could weld all the way around it a nice solid thick bead to make sure that, because this is way thicker. This is 1/4 and this stuff's all like 1/16. So it's basically tin. Like this is, I don't know, it might be 1/8. I don't know. This stuff was definitely like paper, but I don't know. It's way stronger than it was before. I started by extending these. Now, normally when you would extend these, you would make an angled cut across, and then you maximize the amount of metal you have actually that's welded, like more connection. On this side, I didn't have much room, so I just made a square cut. But yeah, I'm gonna get these done, and then I have to fit it and make sure it still bolts up to the quad just right. And then from there, it's just pulling the wheel off and fixing that other weld. And then, like I said, I might do some gusseting. I might put another gusset here and do so. It's a little more reinforcing since this has become an issue. So it's all back together. That was a relatively easy one to do. So with the extensions, as you can see, the extensions right there, 2 inches, and then 2 inches on the shaft, and then my 1/4 inch round pipe adapter. So now everything's a little stronger. And I'm going to end up gusseting this. I'm not skipping that step. I'm going to gusset it. I just had to get it all fit up to make sure that everything bolted on. And what a normal person or a smart person would do is they would bolt it all up with everything tacked. And I was pretty confident in my measurements and my squaring up. So I just welded it completely. But it bolted right in. No issues, no problems. I didn't gain... I don't know that I gained any real ground clearance. That wasn't ever the goal. It was to get the rear end further away. I probably gained a 1/2 inch or something, or maybe an inch or something, but I don't care about that. The goal was to fix the broken swing arm, but get more distance out of the back to put bigger tires in the back. I should be able to clear bigger tires in the front without doing anything, but I might end up having to put, because of the clearance issues, I might end up having to put a lift on the front. See, this thing's lifted in the back, but I never lifted it in the front. It's still factory. And that was to maintain the very neutral axle angles that the Hondas have. So that's how come these things never break axles. The axle angles are very, very mild. Yamahas, and they're horrendous axle angles. People put lifts on them and then you just break axles. Not to say that this thing's never broken axles, but the only time it ever has was out of stupidity. So, yeah, I'm going to keep screwing around here, and then I'll take a little video here at the end when it's all done. Because I still have to pull that wheel end off and weld the crack and patch that fish plate, that spot where it broke. So there we go. It's all done except for the extra gusseting that I'm going to do after I test it here to make sure everything works good. But it now easily clears 32s. And now that I put them on the front, the machine gained some ground clearance, obviously running 32s. But the only issue is going to be the front. There might be some clearance issues on the front end, but time will tell, right? The back won't be an issue. Like, the back clearance won't matter. Everything's good. No more issues. But, oh yeah. Now it should play in the mud, as long as I don't go beating it down crappy, dry trails. I'm going to use the old 300 Hondas for that stuff from now on, and this thing's just going to be a mud machine.
Seconds. Now, Rabbit, a good cop does what before using his equipment in the field? They test it? They test it, exactly.
Just covered in muddy water. That's one thing. These 32s definitely throw more mud and water than my 30s did. So here I am. I'm testing the Assassinators and the drive shaft and the swing arm repair. Thus far, so good. I was gonna try and get a picture or an angle for you guys, but I can't even get off the machine. Like, it's just. I didn't wear chest waders. I'm wearing a snowsuit because it's cold. But yeah, it's not even a challenge for 32s. Like, it's probably not even that deep if you were here. I came here with my dirt bike the other day and I couldn't go anywhere. I kept getting stuck. So I decided to come back with a quad, but I came back with too much of a quad for this place. I don't think I can even really properly test it here. Oh, I gotta. Oh, like, I can't even really test it, but can't even spin. Like, one, Hondas aren't known for their ability to spin in deep mud. Two, there's no mud here to spin in. Yeah, I'm in two-wheel drive, and it's not even a challenge. The soft spot. I'll go in my own tracks. So in my experience, when you're at a lake like this and you go in your own tracks, usually the first pass is easy and the second pass is really soft. And that's kind of what it was. But I don't know, it's not enough of a challenge, but it is a good test for durability. So I've now made multiple passes. So I've now made multiple passes through this, trying to make it deep enough to get stuck. And what'll happen is I'll get it completely planted or something and not be able to get out. And then I'll have to walk home many kilometers. So let's see how this pans out. But there's actually a moose over there. Yeah, there he is. Hello. Anyway, I'm sure he's like, what the hell is going on? Oh, it's starting to get soft now. Once again, yeah, it's not enough to really challenge, to really put anything through the paces. I'll have to try somewhere else to really put this thing to the test for you guys, but the old Assassinators, they are pretty great, I'm not gonna lie. Like, she's getting deep, and there's no way my 300s would make it through that. Like, and yeah, there's no way. It's starting to get pretty deep in the middle there in the ruts, and it's not even a challenge for the Assassinators. But if I get stuck here, I'm walking home. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of the ruts before I get myself stuck or something. Yeah. But no, overall, we'll see how she holds up. So far, so good. The old Honda. I can't even get off and take a video for you guys around the machine because it's so soft here. It's so soft. Yeah, no, there's nothing there. We'll call that a win for now, I guess.